Welcome to Vision Pros, the show all about spatial computing, Vision OS, and getting work done on the Apple Vision Pro. I'm Tim Chatton, host of the show. Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of Vision Pros. I'm joined today by Robby Burns, who is a music educator who benefited from the second generation of the Apple Vision Pro by being able to get a second-hand first generation, which is a nice after effect of a new generation coming out and used ones coming in the market. And we're going to talk about his experiences as a new Vision Pro owner and kind of what he's been up to in the headset and some of the shared experiences we've done together. Robby's been on my other podcast, iPad Pros, if you're curious about some of the other things he does as a teacher in the music world. So check those out over at iPad Pros. And that's what's coming up in this episode. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so over at visionpros.fm/Patreon or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. With that, here's my discussion with Robby. Enjoy. Welcome to the podcast, Robby.
Thanks for having me. I gotta be honest, ever since I saw you start to do this show, I thought to myself, I would love one of these things. And wouldn't it be cool if I got invited on that show, if I ever had one of these? It's been a long time wish of mine to join you here and have all of the opinions.
Well, I'm glad we could find the time and to do this. And yeah, I'm also very excited we managed to get you a headset because there's a lot of, internal convincing at the household level to make that happen, you know.
I mean, yes, definitely. I think, and it's maybe a starting off point for the conversation, just to say that, I think, having watched over a year of discourse about this thing, and now having one has proven that so much of the discourse was really quite spot on about what this thing is for and what it's good at. And I think my wife pretty early on in the testing of it was yeah, this is really cool and compelling, but this is a very isolating computer that is not going to be a thing that anyone else benefits from. And I was well, neither of us benefits from each other's Macs either. That wasn't my winning argument, but yes. we did go back and forth. I had a very, very close friend who actually has who works in Vision Pro pretty much full time and is involved with an app on the platform. And she updated to the new model that came out earlier this year, or rather last year, and gave me a deal I could not refuse on her old model. So yes, I am now an Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah, you got a nice sweetheart deal that. Oh man, it was a fraction of what I paid, but I got it on day one, which I guess it was worth it just for that angle of things and all that. And I forget, is Apple Care was a possibility because of the new program? Is that accurate?
So it was really wonky. It actually was very strange because the thing that compelled me to want this was that she, being a friend of mine and just being a super awesome person, was willing to let me log into my iCloud account on it for a weekend and just kind of test it out. And that was obviously what pushed me over and made me feel this is something that I will use and get some value out of. But there was we had to do funky stuff. Every 24 hours we had to log me out and her back in because of the way that Apple Care works is I could add it to my Apple Care. And I did, and now I'm an Apple Care 1 subscriber. I put all of my most expensive things that are eligible for Apple Care on it, including this headset.
Yeah, this is the Apple Care 1 is $5 cheaper than the Apple Vision Pro monthly subscription. So you're instantly saving $5 just by putting this on.
Exactly, yeah. And so, but what was weird is just something about having the way that that Apple Care works and iCloud accounts work. There was this weird situation that she figured out on the phone with them where she could not, she would void her own Apple Care if she stayed logged out of the platform for over a
that is
day.
The thing. Yep.
So, and I guess that's to deal with scams or theft, I guess, if people are moving them from user to user in one way or another. That's against Apple's wishes, but I don't know. It was a little wonky, but yeah, no, it all worked. I was able to add it to my account once I finally decided I was going to keep it, and and it's been on my desk.
That's really cool because in the past, before Apple Care 1, as a secondary owner, you could not add a device to Apple Care. It was the original owner only, and after that, to my knowledge, you could not add a new device. And now you can buy a device in the secondhand market and it does its little checks, and you can add it to your account, which is rad and super cool for stuff like this.
I totally agree. Yeah, I'm happy to be on the platform.
Yeah, but back to the point you made earlier. This is probably the most personal of personal computers out there. I'd say.
It's funny, things that are like new product categories, especially that involve Apple, keep getting billed as like the most personal computer. I remember the watch was like
the watch, absolutely. Yeah, it's on you all the time. It's keeping track of your health data, so it's very personal. But other people can see your watch, and kind of my daughter, plays with the Mickey watch face and stuff, so it's shared in that way, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, even the phone, I would argue, is in some ways very personal, just because that's like, for me, is like my most used, most dependent on. It's like my everything computer. It's not my most productive operating system that I have in my life, but it's definitely the thing I cherish the most, and would be like most messed up if I lost it or didn't have access to it for an extended period of time. So, but in many ways, like just sort of having an isolated experience where you're immersed sort of in the experience of the device is definitely not a thing that you can share really at all. And and it's in part what compelled me to it when I got to actually look at my iCloud data in there is because I feel like there's huge advocacy for this device as like the computer for someone who really cannot focus on their work super easily. And, computers, I've been really trying to design my computing workflow around being more modular, but also being more like modal and like using certain computers in certain ways at certain times and in certain places, and having that give a lot of shape to how I get my work done. So like, for example, like my Mac, when I use it at work at my desk, and then I bring it home to my studio, I plug it into my studio, where I have like a monitor and some audio equipment that it plugs into. And then I don't actually use it out of either of those two spaces. Like this is a work machine, and I do quite a lot of, I've set everything up to where it's like, there's not a whole lot of motivation for me to want to be on Mac OS when I'm not in that work mode. And that has been working really well for me, especially with like family and I growing, having 2 kids now.
Yeah.
It's nice to not necessarily feel like inclined to do certain kinds of work at certain times of day where probably I should not be focused on doing certain kinds of work. And the Vision Pro is interesting because it stays in the studio, and it also I live by that same kind of code with it. But what it allows me to do is like get so much more focused on certain creative and productive tasks than I even am with the Mac, just because of how I can like tune everything else out. Like I didn't think the environments were going to be that compelling. I thought they would be kind of cheesy, but when you actually like spend time in one, and then when you actually spend time in one, like with a Mac display inside of there, like it's like, it's a little bit, actually, like, it sounds corny. It's a little emotional actually. So like be completely surrounded by like, one of these environments, because it's like, it's just like very focusing, and like, I don't know, isolating is a negative. It is isolating, but it's also like kind of just like sort of focusing at the same time in a way that's like very powerful. Like it's just different I'm sitting at my desk, but it's like I can't see any distractions that are in my room that might make me lose touch with what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Now, a pro tip, I'm not sure if you know about this, but if you, in developer mode, you can enable to see the Mac virtual display in immersive environments. And when you do that, that enables you to like open Disney Plus and launch any of those environments, and you'll still get your Mac virtual display there, so you could be working on Avengers Tower on your Mac now.
Okay, well that's cool to know. So but is that like, do I need the developer beta on there to do this?
No, it's just in the settings, and there's like a developer thing you can toggle.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, it's also pretty handy if you're just you can be in the TV theater watching a TV show and have the Mac virtual display still up, and you could be working with the Mac above or below the video or whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I just hang out at Mount Hood is my primary place of residence when I am in the Apple Vision Pro.
And it being in the studio, you probably don't watch a ton of like movies with it, right?
No, I do. So this is like a thing that I'm negotiating with mostly myself.
Because I was one,
I think there's times. Okay, so like let's just like skip from opening statement all the way to closing statement and say like we'll I guess talk about some things that I'm doing with it that are like job related.
Yes,
but
we'll talk about work stuff.
Like,
but I'm just curious from this angle because I know video viewing is such a interesting because there's shared stuff. You're watching a movie or TV show together as a family or a husband wife duo or whatever, and then there's other stuff that you're just watching and your partner doesn't have any interest in, and it's a matter of when do you have the time to watch that stuff. Yeah,
exactly. And so I think like the it can't be like understated that all productivity stuff, to get to in a moment, this thing is actually like the best TV that I own. And so like the compelling use case of anything, like there's lots of creative ways you can use this thing, but like to me this thing is definitely highly like I'm definitely using it quite a lot for like entertainment purposes. So like this whole idea of like I'm gonna watch TV and movies in it is like I pretty much everything I've watched that's a movie that has not been with people has been in here since I got it. And now my movie watching pace with like an 8-month-old and a 6-year-old is like has really slowed. But yeah, I think like this thing is probably gonna start to work its way upstairs more often, just because like there are times like when in bed at night or in the living room where I do want to watch a movie, but I don't want there to be noise. And I've got some solutions for this. Like in the This
you
is
probably
not
have headphones.
related,
You probably have headphones,
but
for TV and
I have.
stuff, yeah.
Well, I picked up the. You'll find this fun to talk about. I picked up those Sonos headphones earlier last year, and those are like actually like have completely solved our problem of like the TV is too loud for the family at night. Like I just pop those on and push one button, and then the soundbar audio just beams to it, which is super because that covers all
outputs, not just Apple TV where you have AirPods.
Exactly right. Yeah. So I can game on it as well. So that's pretty cool. And so I mean that's the thing I've been doing. But no, I think that like I've got a list of growing movies and TV shows where it's like there's no reason I don't want to watch it in Apple Vision Pro. So I think I might actually put it on my bedside sometime in the not too distant future. Like I would love to watch I'm behind on several shows that I really enjoy, and I've got queued up. Actually, this is something maybe you can tell me. So I have a couple of movies in Apple TV, in HBO, and in Amazon Prime that advertise themselves to me in the Apple TV app as having 3D versions available, but I do not know how to invoke a 3D movie on any of these platforms, and I'm not even sure if it's a different process depending on the streamer.
Okay. So 3D, most reliable way is just having it within iTunes, Apple TV. Disney will play it by default if it's available, and the Disney app is actually really good on Apple TV on Vision Pro. You can be they don't display ads, the Disney Plus app for Vision Pro, even if you're on an ad tier. They have not programmed that in yet, so that's a win.
Good.
And as far as I know, it just defaults to 3D on the Vision Pro on Disney Plus. There's no way to actually watch a 2D version, to my knowledge. But there is a special 3D section with the Disney Plus. If you just go in there, that'll show you all the 3D content available. And then as far as iTunes, it'll ask you, do you want to play this in 3D or 2D when you hit play? But for some licenses, like older movies you may have purchased, you may have to find a way to repurchase those in 3D because the license wasn't updated for 3D kind of thing. So it's can get a little messy. Like I had to buy a new license of Jurassic Park to get the 3D copy of that in my library kind of thing.
Okay. That's good to know. So what about, like if Dune, for example, is advertised to me in the TV app as a 3D movie, I'm assuming that is an Apple TV purchase, not the HBO version.
Yes. As HBO has environments, but to my knowledge, does not have any 3D content whatsoever, which is a shame. Okay. But yeah, Dune, it's a 3D purchase in Apple TV app. Mad Max Fury Road, same thing.
So am I going to buy Dune? Is that what's going to happen?
That's what's going to happen. It's on sale frequently enough for like $5. So you just wait for the sales, and that's when you pick up your 3D movies. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right. That's good to know. So yeah, I mean, TV is great. I'm doing it down here. I've been watching slowly the first installment of Wicked in increments of 5 minutes, which is getting me there.
Song by song. One song at a time, right?
Exactly one song at a time.
And
I watched
in 3D, of course, and
so I'm watching it on Amazon Prime. So now I'm thinking maybe I need to just buy that when I see it on Apple. I need to just buy it.
Yeah, you do
next time, and I guess I'll have to just kind of pay closer attention to that, the sales on there.
And you need to experience the Avatar movies in 3D on Apple Vision Pro. It's
now
quite
those
the experience.
Are Disney.
That would be in the Disney Plus app. So yeah, you just have access to those if you want. Those.
Yeah, and that would be, I feel like, more spectacle. I'm not super into the Avatar movies, but I absolutely.
It's just a visual audio spectacle. It's like Tron Legacy was just updated for 3D, and that's a fun experience because that's just a video audio spectacle, and that copy actually has the IMAX aspect ratio baked into the video of it. So it's 4K 3D with aspect ratio changes into IMAX. So it's pretty special of a release there. Yeah. And that's finally out for those listening, both on Apple TV, iTunes, as well as Disney Plus. That was like such a, will they ever update this thing? And they finally did. So that was cool to see. But yeah, so I'd imagine you're probably like me, and a lot of your personal time is like at midnight when the rest of the family's passed out and asleep.
Yeah, I mean, I get up at like 7 a.m. with my son to kind of get him some food and like get ready for work. And I mean, I would say like usually everything is like kind of shut down as far as kids stuff goes by 9 p.m. And then I'll get like 2 hours of time at night. And, like my wife and I we're like, it's just not like in a season of movie watching and TV show watching together right now. Like I've been gaming, she's been playing some Nintendo Switch. Like sometimes she just goes like straight up to bed with the baby and gets that whole process going. And while I'm wrapping up with my with my son's bed. So it's like there's like a couple of hours it's like at the end of the day when that kind of stuff happens. To be honest, it's been a little bit more gaming lately. I have tried that Portal app in the Apple Vision Pro, and like I think that app is very good. My internet connection is just a little wonky for it to be like a thing I do all the time.
Your PS5 is wired in?
My PS5 is wired in, yeah. So I have better. There's parts of the house where the Wi-Fi is a little stronger. Things tend to be pretty solid in the living room because the PS5 is directly wired in there. The router is in there. Like usually if I'm sitting on the couch in the same room as it, I get pretty decent results. So I played a little bit of PS5 in the Apple Vision Pro with the controller synced up to the Apple Vision Pro, and it was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Nice.
So yeah, pretty good. So I think I'm gonna try to be prioritizing movies and TV in it pretty soon. That's definitely the thing that I want to be doing in it the most. That is, other than like some of the stuff we're going to talk about here in a minute. But sure, I'm certainly behind, and I'm happy to have. I didn't want to like also just do everything in it. That's entertainment. The first week I had it, I'm very slowly drip feeding the content. Like I just if new stuff comes out, I'll check it out. But like there's tons of immersive experiences in the TV app I have not even touched. I haven't watched that like submarine movie yet. I haven't finished the Metallica concert. Like I've left a lot of stuff to kind of keep myself.
You've watched some of the basketball game.
I did. Yeah. I thought that was cool. It's just great. I mean, I think like it's funny. I'm not like a super big basketball ball watcher. Like I'm not a fan. I don't follow the sport, but I also am never not enjoying myself when I'm watching basketball. And I think like Apple Vision Pro is like a reminder to me that I'm like, wow, with the like right focus on what's going on, like this is a very exciting sport. So I mean, I think like the close-ups of the action immerse you in a way where it's, I don't know, it's like otherwise pretty easy as someone who doesn't like know the inner workings of the league. Like it's very easy to like have a game on the TV and be passive about it, but it's not easy to be passive when you were like a couple of feet away from LeBron James.
Absolutely. Yeah. I guess, as far as sports and passivity, even watching like I watched they made the World Series and playoff games this past year on the Vision Pro, and just as a huge window, and you have a lot less distractions when you're just like, here's this huge window, I'm focused on the game. Immersive is just another level from that, even where it's something special. The Audio, I thought could use a bit of work. I'd love more options. Like I'd love an option of just like give me what the stadium audio is and the announcements that are going on there, and then let me toggle on the special broadcasters for the Vision Pro. And I also the immersive format also I find is a bit odd. With your experience will vary depending on the chair or bed you're sitting on as far as height, right? Because I didn't know until like the end of the first quarter that I could look at the ground and see the score, because my bed was so high up that looking down at the ground was actually kind of a challenge.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I was going to ask you, with regards to me watching the thing in bed more often, do you ever notice that the content window drifts when you're lying in bed? Like I've had this issue once or twice where it's like, not when it's an immersive content, but like if it's just like I was watching Pluribus in bed and I just noticed that the window just kept moving to the left. And
I have not noticed that. I've noticed widgets don't behave well in dark rooms.
Yeah.
I tend to lay down and I use like Jupiter or the moon, some very dark environment that behaves well when I'm just laying down, so the environment can be like the windows above my on the ceiling. Basically, is kind of how I most of the time do it. I kind of wish the Apple Theater environment could display stuff on the ceiling and just like go with it instead of forcing it on the wall in front of me. You know?
Yeah, I do wish I had a little bit more control over that aspect of the window management.
Yeah, but you know, of course, you can tap and hold the digital crown to recenter things, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so I'll do that from time to time. It's like, oh, I moved my head. Let me position the window, the environment differently, and center this here.
What's the best way? So I have the 4 terabyte model. So like, what is or is it 2 terabyte? I have a
it's 1
terabyte.
You have the max one, like I do. Yeah.
I'm mixing up all. I know that it is the high amount that you can get. Okay.
Yeah.
Should I be trying to download more content to the device? Because I'm noticing that sometimes if my internet's a little wonky, like things are not like the thing is clearly capable of showing higher resolution than I'm always.
You're
getting
definitely going to get
watch.
better resolution downloading a video if possible.
Yeah.
So I would do
I gotta
that.
just start doing that.
You also need to make sure you change the defaults from download the low resolution video to the full resolution. So go in the settings app on the TV app and change that. Because when I initially got the Vision Pro, it's like, why is this download stuff look so bad? And it was because I had the setting toggled the low resolution download. So make sure that's toggled, and that'll be more consistent and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to. There's a couple things that I have not done enough of, but that I'm really looking forward to. I also just only last month got the dual strap, which is what when I borrowed it for a weekend, that had just shipped for the previous owner, and so she like lent it to me with the dual strap, and I had a great time. I could wear it endlessly. And then when I finally got it for good, obviously I gave her dual strap, and I had whatever was the name of the single band that had come with it, and the difference is so stark. Like I couldn't wear the thing for more than 10 minutes at a time.
Staggering. Yeah, I was the first week I had the Vision Pro. I was kind of sad. It's like, oh my God, this thing is painful, and I want to wear this much longer. It was a very sad early day. So that figured out solutions and found this dual strap from Apple. This is just what it should have shipped with. It's a great design. Yeah.
Yep. Very, very good. So yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of interesting workflows that I've slipped into that are adjacent to so I mean, obviously I'm not like bringing this thing to the public school and spending time.
And you're not doing one-on-one private instructions with this on your head. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's just so funny. It's like, it couldn't be less useful in that case, because like there's now I'll say this though. And I feel like this is a thing that probably this is just tired to say. It's even tired to think at this point in the spatial computing discourse, but I'll just go ahead and say it. Like, I do think that it seems very far away of potential future where the windowing aspect of vision OS could exist on a pair of like smart sunglasses, for example. But that's clearly like that's like obviously what everybody wants. Like
as at least one form factor, because I would like both form factors. I like the goggles for the immersive.
I think
stuff,
for like I think though it's really clear to see like how I maybe would be using some of like expanding my workflows in Vision OS if it was something that was always on my face and that was like in no way, shape, or form isolating or disruptive to my ability to see or my students' ability to see me. Like if I were just wearing a pair of small glasses and I could just like see a little score window, where pivoted around my room, just anywhere, like that would be obviously.
Imagine being a conductor and your score could just be this huge window outstretching behind the orchestra or whatever. That'd be interesting.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of those kinds of things, and you can get a little taste of it in there now. So I guess I'll just tell you my like general like work mode kind of setup is like to have an environment on, sometimes like 80% an environment, so I can see. I like to see a little bit of my desk, and I'll usually have the Mac virtual display. Kind of like a little bit more in my face than what I would have than where my monitor sits. And then I'll usually have like Fourscore kind of sitting to my right. I have a piano to my right, like an acoustic piano. And it's really cool to kind of blend the acoustic instrument with the digital score. So I'll have my score library just sort of permanently fixed to the wall right above my piano to my right. I'll usually, one thing is sometimes I work in between my private lessons when I'm down here, since that's one of my like quote modes of being on my Mac. And so what I like to do is I have a door, like a side door that my students come in. So I usually have the Apple Home app kind of like right above my Mac virtual display, just so that I can see the camera feed of that door and know if someone's coming to the studio. I can unlock the door from inside of Vision OS, which is cool. And then like some of my favorite productivity apps have Vision OS apps, which is awesome. Craft and Things are often pinned to the right and to the left of my Mac virtual display. And, I'll use those in Mac OS as well. But they're really solid Vision OS apps. And I really enjoy having some of my notes and some of my tasks just sort of like there. And the coolest thing is like when you take the Magic trackpad or mouse and you like shuffle it off the edge or up or down off the edge of the Mac virtual display, it becomes a keyboard and mouse for whatever Vision OS app you have shoved off to the side. So like, and it works a lot like that older style of iPad trackpad, like with the little floaty circle that kind of.
Yep.
Yeah. And that is like a very powerful feeling. I kind of lost my mind the first time I ever did that. Even though from a technical perspective, it's not really much different than like the way that iPad can work with Mac OS, like where you move the mouse off the edge. Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of the same tech.
Yeah, I love the keyboard being shared across the Mac and the Vision Pro.
Yeah, it's really very, very cool. I kind of wonder how possible like touch support would be, like pinch gestures inside of the virtual display.
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious to know. It'd be cool to blend the environment, maybe with a potential touch MacBook Pro later this year.
Yeah, that's the rumor. Yeah,
I would think
OS
that
needs to support touch. Then it'd be interesting if Vision Pro could enable that.
Now I know this is the Vision Pro show, but I'm going to buy that Mac.
Absolutely,
it's happening.
Yeah.
In fact, I wonder what the role like I think that Mac, so I'm just getting more broadly Apple-y here, but it all talks to itself, everything. So I feel like a folding phone that like unfolds to an iPad, like an iPad mini size, and I feel like a Mac that has touch is going to dramatically change which Apple devices I think I need to have in my life, because I feel like I'm going to go down to one less if I have those two products.
How much would you pay for a folding phone?
What do we think it's going to cost? Like $2,000?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think I would wait and see what they have. I mean, I'm already sort of skeptical that I would be willing to live without the camera if the camera were less.
Yeah.
I think I would be able to make some other compromises. I would not love losing Face ID, although I'm not fully convinced they won't have that. We'll see, I guess, what generation. I feel like there will be some generation 1 compromises, but I'm not fully convinced they're not going to do Face ID. But like in a world where,
yeah,
I think it's possible. But in a world where it's like, okay, I have a very, very mobile, pocketable thing that unfolds to an iPad, and then a Mac that serves kind of really similar functions when folded. Like if it folds back on itself and has an Apple Pencil support, well, gosh, that's going to do a lot of what my iPad Pro does. And then I'm like entering into virtual reality and interacting with that Mac, and I can even like do touch input or like use a stylus. Like it's just difficult to see where an iPad Pro fits into that long term, which is fine. I'm happy to live a simpler life.
Yeah. You won't be able to rip the screen off your MacBook Pro and use the pencil and all that.
No, I think, and that's the thing, right? Is like they'll continue to close the gap, but yet like not quite far enough. Like I mean, I don't know. It's tough to imagine like putting a MacBook on a music stand at a gig, and getting by. But we'll see. It's just it's all getting kind of interesting the way things are converging, and and to the other thing too is like, gosh, if a pair of like. If they did like a Ray-Ban glasses kind of thing this year that was just AirPods, I mean, I would probably not bring my AirPods around hardly at all.
Interesting.
Because I had the first generation of those Meta glasses, and they apparently have improved. Well, hold on, my opinions of Facebook have changed to the point where now I don't want to have anything to do with them. But the thing, they've improved some of the stuff that was a problem in the first generation, and the main thing for me is just like always having access to like doing phone calls and podcasts without having to like shove something in my ear or take it out of my pocket. Like that's
again, I mean, for me, I'm not sure. I like it in my ear because other people can't hear it as well.
Well, that was the thing with the first gen Meta is you could kind of hear it a little from the outside, but apparently they have.
I feel like there's always going to be there's going to be leakage. I feel like it's. I
think a little, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if by the time this kind of product really takes off, if that's a mostly solved problem.
Sure. Also, the noise cancellation can be helpful in louder environments for ear health and all that.
Right. I would say like the AirPods would go from an everyday carry to a like I'm bringing it to concerts. I'm bringing it on airplanes. You know. Well, and I'll say too, the AirPods are the way to do Apple Vision Pro, and those little what's the name of the piece that's on the side of the head of the Apple Vision Pro? There's a name for that. For the sound module on it. Those things are crazy impressive.
They're great.
But
wearing I can't
AirPods
do it at bed or whatever when people are next to me or whatever.
I'll just say wearing the AirPods Pro 3s with the Apple Vision Pro is nuts. Like the sense of space extends to the auditory element of it in a way that's like, it doesn't really matter like that thing when you're aware that you're like in a computer and not just like in the world. Like the sense of space is very realistic, and I really dig it. Like it's that with noise canceling on is just the coolest way to watch a movie or use a computer. And I'm a little bummed AirPods AirPods Max don't fit great.
Yeah,
with them.
I wish there was a better solution for that. I mean, it seemed. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like they should have those like have the little units be able to like, come off the headphones in some like clever way where it just like snaps into the Vision Pro somehow. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, AirPods are here in my workflow to stay.
Yeah, what I love about the AirPods with the Vision Pro is like that connection is just so strong. Like it's not going to switch when you're using your iPhone to, let me try to connect to the iPhone to use your AirPods. It's like if you have the Vision Pro on and you put the AirPods in, you're pretty sure it's going to just stay with that device, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. I have none of those kinds of issues with it. Here's a cool workflow I haven't done a ton of, but I'll share it just because it's very cool. It's the same kind of concept as the acoustic piano, but I have kind of like a table surface. Like I have like the top of my keyboard is flat, even though it's digital, and it's very cool to take the Mac Virtual Display and use composition software on it and just make it like literally the same size horizontally as the piano itself, and then just have the keyboard and mouse on the piano, and then sort of have like a composing environment with piano access right there. Oh, and bonus points, my piano is like plugged into my MIDI controller. So like if you have MIDI note input, like using Dorico on my Mac is crazy because I can just like use keyboard, mouse, and piano keyboard input, and the screen can be like the size of my wall and like right positioned above where my fingers are on the keyboard. And then, you can see, I mean, sometimes like compositions for band or for orchestra have a lot of things going on. It's very helpful to be able to see so much more of the context, like have 3 or 4 or 5 pages up at a time.
Yeah.
Really, really, really useful.
Yeah, Dorico is such a special app, how they've really made it full featured outside of the Mac, like on mobile.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like, what I haven't done a lot of is use iPad apps, but there are several iPad OS companion apps to kind of there's like an emerging device category for studio producers, which are like these kind of like mobile little workstations. So like the OP1 from Teenage Engineering comes to mind. Ableton now has one. I think theirs is called the Move. And I've got a cool thing that Yamaha was very gracious to give me called a Seek Track. And it's just like a little mini like production studio. It's got like a sequencer on it, a bunch of knobs and buttons. I'm holding it right now. It's just like a very, very really delightful looking and feeling device. But there's an iPad app because the thing doesn't have a UI. It's all like, memorizing like strange combinations of like button presses, like holding certain buttons down and things. But the iPad app syncs via Bluetooth, and then you can kind of like dig around and like change the sounds of the different patches and like slide with your hand sliders and stuff. So Vision Pro is actually kind of cool as like a way to use some of these iPad apps, because you can sort of have your musical input device on your desk, and then you can just sort of have like a touch interactive iPad app where you're just like sort of literally like pinching faders with your fingers in the air to like sort of like turn on and to edit and mix and pan and automate effects and things. So that can be kind of a fun use for it as well.
Have you tried that piano app that if you have a real piano, you can like place a virtual one on top of it, and then it like will tell you which notes to play like as you're learning music and stuff?
Yeah, I use that a little bit. That's not really for me, and it's like as far as the teaching tool is concerned. You can't.
No, it's definitely not for you.
You can't share it with a kid. It's not a thing that me and a student could be looking at together. But it is definitely
it seems cool. Yeah,
it's cool and it's the right idea. It's also like not like the technology is, hey, like we can light up the keys of a keyboard. Not like, hey, this is like comprehensive, well sequenced curriculum. So
totally,
I think we need a lot. It's tricky because like I think there are some education products on the market that are like using a little bit of AR or VR, but it's still very much the gimmick territory. It's not unlike just it's like using a computer not because it's the right tool, but just to like kind of get a kid's attention for 6 more minutes of a lesson. And I feel like we do kind of have a long way to go before this stuff is. I mean, this stuff, I don't know. I'm not even convinced that like everybody will use products like Apple Vision Pro one day. But I am convinced that some of the very core technologies Apple has put in there are the future of computing. I just don't know if like the way that most people will use them will be. I don't know if it'll even be in like a wearable thing. I just know that like the eye and the hand tracking and the sense of space and all the many things they've had to develop internally to make this product seems super important to computers for me down the road.
Totally. Yeah. So what are some of the other apps that you're finding yourself gravitating towards?
Well, I'll tell you some things that I'm really missing. The lack of YouTube is a huge bummer.
Oh yeah, I use Juno, which is now discontinued, and it's getting worse and worse as YouTube updates their website, and I'm now needing to make the window nice and small because if it gets too big, it gives an annoying overlay with like suggested videos. Yeah, and there's a couple current third-party apps that do it, but we really need an official app, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of it's a sad thing, and I'll say this too. Maybe you can give me some tips here before I go on some apps that I do like. I'm also having a little bit of trouble with Safari. Like I don't feel like web browsing is particularly a strength of the Apple Vision Pro.
It's complicated because some things I feel like Safari is really great at, and then some web pages is like, oh my gosh, this is very painful. And I guess text is the big, like, it's so much better with the keyboard hooked up to this thing for pretty much everything except for when you're watching a movie, which can be frustrating where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to enter this thing and I can't use voice dictation right now. I gotta just unpeck this word out, the sentence out.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. Yeah, it's simultaneously like the coolest thing to look at the keys and tap them, and also a little bit of a drag. But yeah, I mean, YouTube, I don't know. I would like to think YouTube will one day be there.
And the nice thing Safari, is you can use like the environments if you go to youtube.com, and that's a nice addition that wasn't there, on day one.
Oh, I didn't realize that had not been there. So how does that work? You go to YouTube and Safari.
Yeah.
And then
when you're playing a video, there'll be the icon to like enter an environment. And you can now.
Was that something that they had to add support for?
Yeah, that was in I think the most recent update for the OS. Now,
so Apple added support for it.
Yes, in Safari, basically any video can now do that, which is cool.
Interesting. Have you tried any Safari plugins in Apple Vision Pro?
Not really. No.
Okay, I know that I use.
I'm not a huge plugin guy. I think I have one blocker installed, but nothing like especially for Vision Pro.
I'll have to tell you. I'll have to report back. So I mean, I haven't tried it on Apple Vision Pro, but I use Vinegar in Safari, which uses it turns YouTube into the playback controls into like the native Apple video playback controls.
Okay.
Including like their native PIP player. I use something that, I haven't even looked to see if it's available for Apple Vision Pro, but for a great education tool that I use on and on throughout the day, every day, is it's called Vidimote, which takes video and audio content embedded in a website and allows you to slow it down or speed it up live. I use Downy to download video and audio content from a website, but they don't have a Vision Pro app, so that's obviously not going to work on there. And then lastly, I use the Readwise Reader app to just clip stuff. And then I have a couple things that are not interactive, but they're doing stuff under the hood, like a couple of blocking tools and a couple things that open, like I have stuff that opens Reddit and Mastodon posts inside of, like Ivory and Narwhal, which are my two Reddit. Those are my Reddit and Mastodon clients of choice. And so those work wherever those apps may exist.
Reddit clients are still a thing, sort of.
I do. I really like Narwhal on iOS.
It's kind of amazing that exists still after the whole fallout with.
Yeah, and Narwhal is not so bad. Apollo. I miss Stealth, but Narwhal is pretty good. They've said they're making a Mac app, and I all right, bring it. I'm really. I mean, I browse Reddit on my Mac only through I use Narwhal on the iPhone mirroring app, just because I don't, or on Safari, I guess. But
yeah. So
that's another hole in the app space. But there's a couple of really good indie apps that have great support. So I'll tell you three that are coming to my mind. So Food Noms. Wait, do they have a native Apple Vision Pro app? I use it in there. It's pretty good on all platforms, and it runs pretty great. But there is a native. I'm 100% sure there's a native Vision Pro app for the Play app, which is like a watch later app where you can like clip things from. I usually am clipping YouTube videos I want to watch into the Play app, and what's nice is it's got like an Apple TV app where you can play back all these videos you clipped throughout the day. Sometimes that's just the TV where I want to watch stuff, and so I clip it there. And the Apple Vision Pro app is native and allows me to watch. I'm actually wondering if I can watch. I'm pretty sure when I used it, you can watch the video in the Play app. So maybe that's a hacky way of having a YouTube client.
That would be. Yeah. I think that is the thing from what I remember.
And then lastly is Sequel, which is a downtime manager, which is just for me managing that 2 hours at the end of every day we were talking about. Just books and shows and movies and games that I want to, that people recommend or that I'm interested in, all go in there, and I can sort of track what I've read and what I've played and what I've watched. And, it's a really nice way to kind of keep track of things without putting them in a to-do list or in an Apple Note. And, they do these apps all do some of the nice to have things that you would expect in an Apple platform. Like they've got, like, you can do a widget of like upcoming games that are coming out that you are interested in, and then you just fix it to your wall if you really want to. What no one has made, to my knowledge, is a metronome tuner app that you can fix to your wall as a widget.
Yeah. No, it's like a part. Foursquare has the metronome, but it's a part of the Foursquare app, which is a big app or whatever. So nothing like...
Right. Yeah. Another good app that's unique to the Vision Pro is it's called InSpace. And InSpace is it's an immersive 3D chat app. And I haven't spent enough time in it to be a spokesperson, but it's very cool. It's kind of has a small user base, so it's pretty international. But you kind of like, unlike a FaceTime call, a host can have a room that's sort of like 3D animated, and in that room they can hang album artwork, photos from their photo roll. They can have like links out to stuff on the web. You can sort of decorate it with rich media content, and you can sort of have music playing in the background of your room that's from your Apple Music library. And the different floating heads of the different personas of the people who are in your room all sort of float around in the room, like in a spatial way. So it feels, like a room, not just like a bunch of floating heads. I mean, it is a bunch of floating heads, but because they're positioned differently, you have to like move your head around and look around to see everyone. And it's just kind of a chill hang. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it's the kind of thing, like, you're not going to have that kind of experience in FaceTime because FaceTime isn't focused on that kind of immersion. And you're also not going to talk to people from all over the world in FaceTime who aren't in your contacts. So
yeah. And you're like meeting strangers that are all cool kind of people to just chat with.
Yeah. It's like any platform like this that's still relatively small. A lot of these people are just excited about the platform, and you're going to share similar interests with you, and it's got a little just early adopter vibe, plus also like new social media network vibe. But
yeah, that's the fun thing about this time. Like the new platform thing is a real thing where like this is new and people are trying stuff out, and yeah.
So pretty exciting and cool. But yeah, I mean, I think like for me, the Mac Virtual Display is the killer productivity feature, and without a doubt, it's the best TV that I own.
What window size do you find yourself using for Mac Virtual Display?
It just depends on my mood. I'm changing up. Yeah. I think the biggest one tends to be a little too big, but yeah, I kind of
the middle one I think is the sweet spot for most people.
Yeah, given how close I usually have it to my face, that is usually where I land.
Gotcha. Well, anything else we should touch on?
I don't know. Dreams, hopes. I mean, I think I'm curious to see like what gets announced at WWDC this year. Like I wonder if it'll like because content and video is such a part of the appeal of it. I wonder if like what I kind of don't want, because the Apple Vision Pro is a cool computer. What I kind of don't want is it to go to the way of the Apple TV, where like the features are very sparse, if at all, and it's like if they have anything to say, it's about like a new sports deal or something. Like I'm hoping that that's not.
I hope not either, because like especially during the announcement, they're like, it's not a gaming console, it's a computer, and they really went hard with that. So hopefully they stick with that and like keep it being a computer, doing cool computer things that gets updated.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I'm hoping so. So we'll see. I don't know. The next year of Apple stuff is looking pretty interesting between like all these things we talked about. I mean, that's not even to mention like a possible home thing. It seems like a lot of stuff is just coming all at once, and what the software can do and how these different devices can continue to talk to each other is also really interesting to me.
And let's see. As far as like input to the Vision Pro, you're either hooked up to the Mac where you have trackpad and keyboard, or you're using it standalone, right? You don't have like a separate keyboard that's paired to it.
Oh, no, I don't. Yeah, so I mean, because it's at my desk, I'm almost always using so my Mac setup is like Magic Keyboard, Magic Trackpad, and Magic Mouse all in a row. So
okay.
I use that for the Vision Pro unless it is in a different room of the house, in which case I use nothing.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. And yeah, I want to experiment more with having a keyboard up in the bedroom, because like it gets kind of obnoxious at times when I'm trying to like communicate one tap at a time.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, it's really annoying when I'm doing it and then I'm kind of not doing it any longer. So I don't know. I mean, and I don't see myself doing like email or texting. I do love how easy it is to just stare at the microphone icon and talk, though. That's a very cool feature. Again, it's just the kind of thing where it's like, oh gosh, it would be cool if like, it would be cool if like if there's some sort of magic they could do where it's like any Apple keyboard that is, has ever been linked to an iCloud account of mine, can somehow just like, I can't see myself keeping a Magic Keyboard in every room of my house for this purpose, but it would be cool if there was one nearby, if it wasn't like a fussy.
They need AirPods for keyboards. And
right.
trackpad.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was getting at.
They don't have that. They need it though, because that'd be so useful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if there's anything they could do to make the eye tracking a little bit better, or the little pokey thing better. I don't know. It seems kind of like in at the same time as like the eye and hand tracking is like the most natural. Like I got to tell you, I know that this is something, that they're onto something here, because like after using it for that first weekend I had it, the little like pill shaped thing that's underneath each window, which you like look at it and then you pinch to grab the window and move it around.
Mm-hmm.
That UI is in several iOS apps, and I remember like after spending several hours in Vision Pro, I was upstairs and I was like, I was tracking my wife was like coming home from a place, and I was trying to cook dinner and have it ready by the time she like came home. So I was like, I had to find my open on my phone. It was like kind of like 10 feet away from me across the room. My hands were dirty. I was cooking. And I went, and how there's that like little pill where you can like swipe up to see more information about whatever item or person you're tracking.
Yeah.
I swear to you, it crossed my mind, and I almost started to move my hand up to pinch that pill and grab it and move it up before I realized like,
it's so obnoxious the Vision Pro doesn't have location data.
Well, yes, that also. I mean, I probably would have not been cooking with it on, but I think my point is that I'm like thinking to myself, like, you know what? Like, I mean, I get why not, obviously, because of how complicated already the Apple Vision Pro is, but like, why not make an iPhone where you could look at the user interface and pinch it if they had, you know what I mean? Like if the technology ever became doable, like that it was so obvious to me that this is the way you should touch a computer that, it was all over again. Like I remember the first time I ever like was using a paper score after getting pretty acclimated to Fourscore and like swiping the piece of paper, realizing like I'm an idiot, like this is not a touch screen, like I have to, or rather tapping the edge of the page, thinking, that's not going to turn, I have to like grab that.
Yeah, it's like if you grab a paper map and you try to pinch into the paper map, it's like, why isn't this paper working?
Yeah, right.
But But yeah, I remember the first time when the iPad came out, how magical that was. Just like zooming in on images and stuff. Just it felt like, oh, this is how paper should be. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, I really think they're onto something with that particular part of the technology of it. I don't know. It's interesting to see. It seems like they maybe have like slowed or are not in any rush to make a cheaper one of these things. But I don't even know at this point. I don't even think like
it might be
$1,500 one of these things would appeal to most people I know.
Yeah, I think 1,000's the sweet spot. 1,500 would be a damn good price too. But yeah, I think 1,000 is like the MacBook Air pricing and is where it needs to end up being. And then the eye tracking is so good, but part of it's because it's on your face. It's much easier thing to do on your face versus an iPhone that you're holding in your hand, which there is in accessibility eye tracking for iPad and iPhone. It's just way less effective because like the technology,
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how this evolves over the years, and I'm excited to see the next form factor redesign with whatever hardware is next for this thing.
Absolutely. And I'm hoping they.
I was going to ask: is your face glass? Do you have any scratches on that? Any hairline cracks
on the outer part?
Yeah, the outer glass of the Vision Pro.
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah, I've got 3 now. Just keep adding up. I don't know how they're just showing up on mine. At some point, I'll get it replaced with a fresh set of glass, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's covered under AppleCare, isn't it?
It is, but it still costs money even with AppleCare.
Right.
Has your family seen your persona through that outer glass? I'm curious.
Yeah, no, my 6-year-old son is like very amused by it. He's like having a giggle. Well, and he like also when when my buddy came over with it, was like showing him like persona while I was wearing the thing, and he was like freaked, like freaked out, but in a giggly way. Like he was very, very amused by my digital persona. It's funny the reactions it gets. It's a reasonable reaction from a kid. But
have you answered? Have you answered like a FaceTime call when they call you in the Vision Pro?
Yeah, I have a friend who hung up on me. She said, I never want to see that again.
Yeah, I've always been reluctant to do the video answering like that. Yeah,
pretty funny.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that my mustache would have to be trimmed pretty tight in order for my face to move correctly. It seemed like it was working okay though when we tested it earlier.
It was pretty good. Yeah. Our shared experience is pretty neat before the call. It feels like you're just hanging with your buddy on the Vision Pro. Like it's really, the sense of space is really cool. There. Yeah. I didn't demonstrate though. If I got up and started walking around, I'd be walking around your space kind of thing. It's kind of nifty how that works.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I dig it. Well, we'll have to find a reason to do a shared whiteboard again sometime soon.
Yes, for sure.
Once I get a Logitech Muse.
Yeah. It's in your cart.
That's right. I put it in there right before this call after watching you use yours. It seems very cool.
It's fun. I need to find more uses of it, but I'm glad I have it and hope to find more places to use it. Did you get any case for yours?
Did I get a case?
Like, did you get the Apple Space Suit one or Belkin or anything?
No. I mean, what's going to happen is like next time I'm on a plane. I mean, here's the deal. Next time I'm going to be on a plane, if it happens in 2026, is likely going to be a family trip where there's me no way I'm going to like not, ignore my wife and 2 kids on a plane. So,
I've used it once on a plane. It's very hard, as you said, in a family situation, but I was given the permission to do so, and it was a glorious time.
It's the second kid, which is going to probably destroy the chances of that. Now, I find myself on a plane this time next year on the way to a music conference. So it'll probably be around that time where I would do it, because I think I would bring it. Why not? I would.
I'm curious, just like you've got kids and stuff, storing this safely where the kid's not like grabbing it and dropping it, kind of thing.
I mean, the 6-year-old is not gonna get into. He's not typically going to touch stuff that he knows he shouldn't touch.
And also, like if it's at your side of your bed, like water or something, a cup dropping,
Yeah, I don't really keep a water cup. Sometimes I'll have an enclosed water bottle next to my bedside, but I don't keep open glasses of water.
Okay. Where does it live, I guess?
I mean, the Apple Vision Pro, I keep, it's on my desk at all times.
Okay. No stand or anything. It's just kind of loose and just there.
Yeah. It's kind of like off in the back corner of my desk.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I'm always curious on that angle of like it's not huge, but it's kind of somewhat awkward as far as like where to put it. Right.
Yeah. So far so good. I mean, my daughter might get to an age where she's kind of getting into stuff in a year or so, and we'll see.
Yes.
For now, all good.
Yeah, the newborn reaction to it is interesting. I'm not sure how much you've used it with her or not.
I mean, it was the same time that my son was looking at me, and she was equally like amused at what was happening.
Have you done much? Didn't even mention spatial, like videos. Like, does your iPhone shoot spatial? Have you?
Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, that was. I know. I'm very glad I've taken some very adorable videos of my daughter, like holding her very close to the camera, and it is very special to watch those back. Because yes, the sense of
this
dimension,
perfect age to like, it's like going back in time, right? A little bit.
Yeah, entirely. Reminds me, I need to make sure that my phone camera has spatial turned on. That's a setting, right?
It is. Well, it's a special mode of capture, and there's a lot of third-party apps are getting better at converting 2D videos into 3D. So it'd be worth experimenting with how the conversions look for you, because I can send you the app name. It's quite remarkable what's happening with that end of things now.
Yeah.
Well, it is getting late. We should probably wrap it up.
Absolutely.
You do a podcast as well in the music education realm, if those are interested. Anything? I forget the name of that. If you want to plug it.
So Music Ed Tech Talk is the name of the show, and I talk about music. Well, I mean, I guess it's a little bit about just like how the varying parts of my musical life all influence one another, and so like there's quite a lot of teaching experience and pedagogy and discussion, and there's a little bit of my performing and freelance life, and then how using technology in creative ways that is productive for me and engaging for students kind of it all comes together. And so that's over there at musicedtechtalk.com, which is also doubles as my blog, where I do occasionally link out to things happening in this space and sometimes offering my own thoughts as well.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time tonight. It's been a great learning about your initial experiences with the Vision Pro.
Yeah, it's been so fun talking about it.
Well, that was my discussion with Robby, all about the Apple Vision Pro and him as a new owner and user of this great new platform. Make sure to check out his podcast. I'll link to it in the show notes. And as a reminder, you can support this podcast over at patreon.com/iPadPros, which is the same Patreon that supports Vision Pros. So either patreon.com/iPadPros or visionpros.fm/Patreon, or you can subscribe in Apple Music. With that, I'll talk with everyone again real soon.